We just talked about going in one direction in the circle and a second direction in the circle. Sometimes your opponent or partner will push straight into you. Now, I want you to notice the position that we're both in. We're both pushing in on each other. As I have the double leg, I can't be totally vertical. Otherwise, I'd have no push power into him. I can't push very good like this. I've got to get a little bit of my weight forward to be able to get good push power. Likewise, that's the same thing with the double leg position, although, of course, to be overextended is a dangerous situation. You'll get snapped down. But nonetheless, we do need to have a little bit of an angle here. And so I am driving into him. Now, you'll notice my body is like a spring, kind of pushing into him. His body is going to be like a spring pushing into me. He's going to be we're both pushing into each other. He's not coming to one side or the other. This time he's just trying to put a lot of weight on top of me. At first, I really resist. I keep the legs tight here, I resist. Now, if I'm pushing against him and he's pushing against me, we have an increasing buildup of pressure between the two of us. You'll notice where the center of gravity is. It's right between us. It's right between us. If we're both pushing at each other, center of gravity is right here. However, if I were to lower my level and retreat quickly, I can get his body or weight over my center of gravity, then I can lift up. So, I'm in here, he's pushing into me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop back, my butt on my heel, and you'll notice my butt has not been on my heel in this position. This would be very unfavorable. Why? I've got no place to go backwards or to retreat. This spring gives me a little play to be able to move. So what I do is, from this position, Colby's pushing into me, I'm going to retreat, and I come up. You'll notice my butt, I'm pushing, he's pushing back. What happens when I retreat back? I come down here, my level is low, but all of a sudden he overrides me and is on top. Then I come up right away. He's pushing in, I resist. That makes him push harder. I break away quickly by putting my butt down, and then immediately come up. I don't hang down here, I bounce. Push, 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 bounce, up. Up. He's pushing against me, drop up. He's pushing against me, I drop down, pop up immediately. And I finish it the way I finished that before. He's pushing in, I drop up. I grab deep. I reach up here by his butt or his waist, lift up, come around to the side. I'm in tight, he's pushing, I retreat, and up. I reach. By the way, too, you'll notice my heels aren't, or my ankles aren't like this, where he can grab them. They're down. There's a couple things I can do in here, but for now, we're going to stick with this. From this position, reach up at the waist, lift that up. I pull that up in case I come down. The higher I pull his hip up and his leg, the more there'll be a tendency for his head to go down. That's a disadvantage for him, and that'll help me get on top and to the side. Now, if I've come in and attacked this double, although I haven't been able to finish it, and I am stuck down here, if nonetheless I'm able to transfer this weight, okay, I really push hard to get the weight on this far foot, I've made it very difficult for my partner or opponent to, one, pull his legs back, okay, so he can hip into me, and two, I've made it difficult for him to be able to push into me. Because remember, for him to push into me, his weight has to be on the leg next to my head. If I'm chopping and pushing with my head here and chopping here, and his weight is over this foot, he does not have mechanical advantage to be able to push into me very easily. So, if I'm here, it's difficult for Colby to pull his legs back, and as well, if I'm here, it's difficult for him to be pushing into me. So, as best you can, when you come in, be tight, immediately bump to try to keep that weight on that far leg. If you do that, you help prevent, or at least make more difficult, certain defenses that you can anticipate your opponent might try to come up with. Now, this doesn't happen too much in terms of a position that lasts for very long. And when it occurs, it only occurs momentarily, and you need to recognize it and then take advantage of it quickly. But if Colby is not pushing into me, if we're fighting in here and I feel a lot of pressure in, and I can kind of change that pressure by driving, if there's a point where I can feel that Colby doesn't have a lot of weight on me, I can come up to my feet. That can typically only occur if he's not pushing into me. If his weight is on that leg close to my head here, that is a very difficult thing to do. But if the weight is back or slightly to the outside on the leg I'm chopping, I can typically get up to my feet at that point. And I can do two things. One, if the weight is on top, and then we might be fighting here for a second, all of a sudden I feel a shift here, I can get up and I can drive. You'll notice when I get up to my feet on a double leg, I keep my weight pretty low here. I'm not going to come up real high when I'm chopping. Why do I keep it low? Because I want to keep the weight heavy on Colby's leg that I'm chopping. So I'm in here. Now right now you'll notice where his weight is. It would be very difficult for me to be able to come up here. That's not going to happen. He's got too much advantage mechanically here. But we're pushing and we're fighting up in here, and all of a sudden I pushed a little bit, and all of a sudden I feel the weight's not on me. I can come up, and notice I come up by kind of pushing diagonally into him here, to this position, and I drive. I want to keep as I drive, I want to keep low. And when I say low, not low like this, I want to keep low, chest in, head in, chopping. As I'm driving. Now, the alternative is simply to come up to a crotch and waist position. So again, we're fighting in here, we're wrestling in here, and I've been able to transfer the weight, so I'm not really, right now, like I'm feeling pretty squashed. It's not the time for me to be able to do this type of technique. I feel his legs coming away. What do? I try to scoot in. I push. I feel, oh, his weight's not quite on me right now. I can come up to this position. Now, one, I stayed low and continued to chop. But this time I'm more upright. And I'm going to be ultimately in this position here. I want to be here. Around his waist, in front. This isn't around his leg, it's right in his crotch. This is pinching to help control. And you'll notice my feet aren't close together, kind of pigeon-toed with my knees in, my feet wider so I have a little bit of a base. I'm tight here. You'll notice my head position too is not at his waist, it's up top here. Okay, I'm here in this position here. Okay, I want to get here. You'll notice too that I'm kind of to his side. I'm not directly out in front.